Joy was a young woman whose beauty could make heads turn wherever she went. Her glowing skin, radiant smile, and sparkling eyes made her stand out in any crowd. People often whispered in admiration about her, calling her the most beautiful girl in the village. But behind her striking beauty lay a life filled with pain and struggles. Joy was an orphan, born into a poor family. She was the only child of her late parents, who passed away when she was still a little girl. Life had not been kind to her since then. With no one to care for her, Joy had to grow up quickly and take care of herself. She worked tirelessly, moving from one farm to another, offering her labor just to earn enough to survive. She would spend her days under the scorching sun, her hands blistered from farm tools, yet she never complained. Unlike other girls her age, Joy rarely had friends. She believed in keeping to herself, avoiding bad influences. Many young women in her village had fallen into bad company, chasing after material things and temporary pleasures. But Joy was different. She valued her dignity and vowed to keep herself pure until marriage. She believed that the right man, her future husband, would cherish and honor her for her values. Whenever Joy walked through the streets, men of all ages would stop and admire her beauty. Some would call out to her, others would boldly ask her to be their girlfriend, and a few even tried to woo her with promises of wealth and comfort. But Joy never paid attention to any of them. Her heart was set on finding a man who would not just admire her outward beauty, but love her deeply, cherish her values, and make her his wife. Every night, Joy would kneel by her bedside and pour out her heart to God. Her prayers were simple yet heartfelt. "Dear Lord, I am just an orphan with no one to care for me. I work hard every day just to survive, and it hasn't been easy. Please, God, send a helper into my life, a man who will love me, marry me, and help me build a good home and family. I am tired of suffering, Lord. I have no parents, no one to lean on. Please have mercy on me and answer my prayers." Tears would roll down her cheeks as she whispered these words into the stillness of the night. Despite her struggles, Joy remained hopeful, believing that one day God would hear her cries and change her story. Her unwavering faith and determination to stay on the right path earned her the respect of some in her community, but others saw her as foolish. "What kind of girl rejects every man that comes her way?" they would gossip. "She'll end up alone if she's not careful." But Joy wasn't moved by their words. She knew what she wanted, and she wasn't willing to compromise her values for anyone or anything. Deep down, she believed that her patience and perseverance would eventually lead her to a brighter future. Unbeknownst to her, something was about to change in her life. Joy's days of struggle and loneliness were coming to an end, but she didn't know it yet. Someone was watching her from afar, admiring her strength, beauty, and unwavering faith. Her story was about to take a turn she never expected. It was a hot afternoon when Joy, exhausted from a long day of working on a farm, began her journey back home. Her feet ached, her clothes were stained with dirt, and her hands were sore from the labor. But none of that bothered her. She had earned a little money for the day, enough to buy some food to keep her going. As she walked along the dusty road, she saw a woman approaching her. The woman, who appeared to be in her mid-30s, stopped Joy with a curious smile. "Excuse me, young lady," the woman began, her eyes scanning Joy from head to toe. "You are so beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen anyone as stunning as you in this village." Joy, taken aback by the sudden compliment, smiled politely and thanked her. But the woman wasn't finished. "Tell me," she continued, "are men not coming to you? Or are you the one rejecting them? Because with this beauty of yours, no man in his right mind would let you walk by without wanting to have you as his girlfriend or even his wife." Joy's smile faded. She had heard comments like this before, and she knew where the conversation was headed. "Listen," the woman said, her tone becoming serious. "If you're the one refusing men, you need to stop. You're not getting any younger, and age waits for no one. Right now, your beauty is blossoming, but it won't last forever. Men like to date a woman first before deciding to marry her. If you keep rejecting them, you'll end up alone." Joy took a deep breath and replied calmly, "Thank you for your concern, ma'am, but I believe marriage is not something to rush into. I'm waiting for the right man, the one God has prepared for me. I cannot just accept any man who comes my way, and I will not compromise my values in the name of marriage." The woman shook her head in disbelief. "My dear, you're making a mistake. No man will marry you just like that if you don't date him first. Think about it." Without waiting for a response, the woman walked away, leaving Joy standing there, her heart heavy. When Joy finally reached her small home, she sat on her bed and thought about the woman's words. Doubts began to creep into her mind. Was she making the right decision by waiting? Was she being too rigid in her beliefs? She felt a pang of loneliness as she looked around her empty room. The walls seemed to close in on her, reminding her of her struggles and isolation. Tears welled up in her eyes as she knelt by her bedside, clasping her hands together in prayer. "Dear God," she began, her voice trembling, "I've kept myself pure. I've never soiled myself because I believe in your plan for me. I've worked hard every day to survive, and I've tried to remain faithful to you. But Lord, I'm tired. People are beginning to mock me, and I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm wrong. Please God, if I've done all this in vain, show me a sign. Send me a good man, a husband who will love me, honor me, and help me build a good home. I've sacrificed so much, Lord. Please don't let my sacrifice be in vain." As she finished her prayer, Joy felt a sense of peace wash over her. She reminded herself that God's timing is perfect, and she would not let anyone pressure her into compromising her values. That night, as Joy lay on her bed staring at the ceiling, she whispered to herself, "God has not forgotten me. My story is not over yet." Unbeknownst to her, her steadfast faith and perseverance were about to be rewarded. Someone who had been observing her from a distance was preparing to step into her life, and everything was about to change. The morning sun rose brightly over the village, but Joy's heart felt heavy. As she sat on her bed, her mind was filled with thoughts about her future. The woman's words from the previous day kept echoing in her ears. "What am I going to do, Lord?" she whispered. "I've kept myself pure, unlike many girls in this community who have already given themselves away. How can I show the world that I am different? How will the right man know that I am a virgin, waiting for him alone?" As she pondered, an idea suddenly struck her. "If I make it known publicly that I am a virgin, men will surely take notice. I will let them know I am a virgin ready for marriage." Without giving it much thought, Joy took a piece of cardboard and wrote in bold letters, "Virgin for sale." She tied the sign around her neck and stepped out onto the village road. As she walked, she called out, "I am a virgin. I am for sale. Come and marry me." Villagers stopped in shock, whispering and pointing at her. Some laughed, others shook their heads in disbelief. "What is Joy doing?" they murmured. "Has she gone mad?" But Joy ignored their comments, her desperation pushing her forward. As Joy walked down the road with the sign hanging around her neck, a black luxury car pulled up beside her. The tinted window rolled down to reveal a handsome, well-dressed man. His expression was one of shock and concern as he stepped out of the car and approached her. "Please stop this," the man said gently. "You're too beautiful and too precious to be doing this to yourself, and you're a virgin? No, this isn't the way to go about it." Joy looked at him, surprised by his kind words. "I don't know what else to do," she admitted, her voice breaking. "I'm tired of suffering. I've worked so hard, but life hasn't been fair to me. I've kept myself pure, but no one seems to care. I thought this would make men notice me." The man looked deeply into her eyes and said, "Come with me, let's talk." He led her into his car and drove to a beautiful garden filled with flowers of every color. The sight of it calmed Joy's troubled heart. Sitting on a bench under the shade of a tree, the man introduced himself. "My name is Mack," he said. "I've seen you around the village many times, but I never knew your story. Please tell me about yourself." Joy hesitated at first, but Mack's kind demeanor encouraged her. She poured out her heart, telling him how her parents had died when she was young, leaving her to fend for herself. She spoke of her struggles, working in people's farms to survive, and how she had vowed to remain pure until marriage. Tears filled Mack's eyes as he listened. "You're an incredible woman, Joy," he said. "Your strength and purity are rare. I don't see desperation in you. I see resilience. I see a woman who deserves love and happiness." Joy looked at him, her heart racing. She had never met a man who spoke to her this way. Joy, Mack continued, taking her hand in his, I've been searching for a woman like you, someone with a kind heart, strong values, and unshakable faith. I love you, Joy. Will you marry me? Joy's eyes widened in shock. Are you serious? She asked. Yes, Mack said with a warm smile. I want to make you my wife. Tears streamed down Joy's face as she nodded. Yes, yes, I'll marry you, she exclaimed. Mack and Joy's wedding was a dream come true. It was a warm and joyful celebration, attended by friends, family, and villagers who were happy for her. Joy looked stunning in her white gown, and Mack couldn't take his eyes off her. As they exchanged vows, it was clear that their love was pure and true. After the wedding, Mack surprised Joy by taking her to Canada. There they started a new life together, filled with love, laughter, and blessings. Mack cherished Joy, and she loved him deeply. Their home was a haven of happiness, and Joy never stopped thanking God for answering her prayers. Every night, as she knelt by her bedside, she whispered, Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with Mack. You've turned my sorrows into joy, and my struggles into victory. Moral lessons 1. Patience and faith pay off. Joy's story teaches us that waiting for the right time and trusting in God's plan can lead to unimaginable blessings. 2. Value yourself. Joy valued her dignity and purity, refusing to compromise her beliefs, and she was rewarded for it. 3. Never judge someone's struggles. Mack's kindness shows the importance of understanding someone's story before making assumptions. 4. True love honors values. Real love respects and cherishes a person for who they are, not just their outward appearance. Thank you for joining me on this journey of Joy's life. I hope her story inspires you to remain steadfast in your values, trust in God's timing, and believe in the power of true love. Remember, no matter how tough life gets, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. Stay tuned for more stories, and God bless you.